Okay, I'm gonna hit record.
Hey, all right. Welcome to Monday Night Ignite, friends. We are super excited to have you here because it is another hot August night, and that just doesn't mean the temperature here in Texas, because it is that, but it means for our speakers and our topics tonight. So first up is my dear friend Stacey Kimbrell, and I met Stacey after I was already a fangirl of her book Living Balanced. This is the first version of that, and I was using this terrific book to help my clients for years, helping educate them on toxin awareness, how to make informed decisions about their health. This is a fantastic book. So then we got to actually meet in Ecuador in 2012, 10 years ago, and we were fast friends. And she is a brilliant, has a brilliant mind, knows every chemical under the sun and all of its what they do, is a research hound. She's a great speaker. You've got to hear her multiple times here on Monday Night Ignite. And after hearing her, you'll be surprised to learn that she actually struggled with dyslexia for many years. And then after discovering a natural way of living and Young Living and our products, and totally it changed her life and the lives of her two young boys at that time. Now they're nice young adult men, but she has a huge passion for helping people, as well as practical jokes, by the way, if you ever in the same room with her. She's a great diamond leader with Young Living, and you will love her informative and fun way of teaching. So she will be teaching us tonight about cancer, right? That is the one word that you never want to hear told to you in any kind of situation. And she is posing the question tonight, is cancer in our control? So you will be hearing truth tonight spoken on, I would say, an expert, because she's done a huge amount of research into this way of living and lifestyle changes that we can make. So thank you so very much for blessing us tonight with the information that you're going to be given to us, Stacey. And I'll be in the chat giving you some great resources that she has for you.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'll need you to make me a co-host so I can share my screen, since I gave you the host. I can't share my screen. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited. This is literally one of my favorite topics to teach on, mostly because of having a wonderful friend who passed away from cancer. And I got to be her caregiver just until a couple of days before she passed away. And then also my brother passed away of cancer. And so, and obviously I think we all probably know someone, whether we know them from a distance or personally, who's had cancer. And so, which is very unfortunate. But there's things that we can do. And so we're looking forward to learning what we can do for that ourselves. So when we say, is cancer in our control, it sounds a little bit obnoxious. I would agree with, feeling, if I heard that, and especially if I had cancer, that, it sounds like, I didn't do this to myself, it's not my fault, all this kind of stuff. And while there are genetic cancers only encompass genetic defects, mutations, only 5 to 10% of all cancer. So we're talking for all ages, races, genders. So it could be a baby, me, my husband, my grandma, whatever the case is, for breast, lung, prostate, whatever kind of cancer, only 5 to 10% is a mutation or genetic per the American Cancer Society. So now that leaves this giant array of up to 95%, or let's just say 90, whatever, that is on lifestyle and environment per the American Cancer Society. So when we're looking at the big picture here, there are things that we can do, which is the exciting part, but then we have to really get into, like, what do we really want to do in life? And so that's where we're going to start at today. And I have a presentation for you. And so you'll be able to review this again later. The information I put in the chats is information. I did a whole cancer series. It was 5 days of cancer, and each video is like 30 minutes-ish to like an hour probably. And I have a lot of different information on that as well. So that's what's there for you in the chat. If you want to copy that, we'll make sure you get it at least at the end. And right now I'm going to share the screen. So this is me, and this is my book. It's called Living Balanced. I have to get Danette a new one because she has the old version. And to me, better health starts with removing toxins from your environment and making responsible lifestyle changes for what we eat, think, and do. So we all have a choice in this, which is amazing. Working towards an overall healthy body, mind, spirit are key to living balanced. If you're biblical based, I love the verse Hosea 4:6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I love to add to that, not for a lack of love, not for lack of prayer, and not for lack of faith, but for a lack of knowledge. So when we get the knowledge, then we have the opportunity to make better choices. When you know better, you do better. I'm sure you guys have heard that before. And so we all have that on a regular basis. If you're sort of old school, young living, you would have seen this. My husband and son, I think August was like 14 when he drew this for me. I woke up with a dream of this, and I was like trying to draw, but I cannot even draw a stick person. And so it may be a little hard to see, but you'll see right here on this side that there's big, strong, hardy roots, and that there's grass, and there's a little flower in here. And this is a tree with a person in it who's flourishing with good health, okay? And then you come over here and the roots are not very strong. The earth is cracked. There's no grass, there's no flowers. And this is a person right here kneeling, dying, riddled with illness and disease. And so I just love, this is my version of the tree of life, is like, you know, we have a choice. We know certain things are gonna cause an issue for us in life, and we get to have the choice whether we wanna do it or not. This is my slide. It says healthcare versus sick care. So when we look at the word, I love when I heard this, it was like, like the word disease, right? So it's dis-ease. So are you living with ease? Or are you living with dis-ease? And if you're not practicing and conscious and aware of living with ease, then you're definitely going to be living with dis-ease. So we're talking about healthcare versus sick care. Unfortunately, in our country, we do not have good preventative medicine. Their idea of preventative medicine is to give you a gastric bypass, which they offer at jobs for you before any other instruction. I have a friend that's literally outrageous. I'm probably getting ahead of myself. The doctor said he actually had a gastric bypass, said he needed more good fats, and he told him that the skin from Kentucky Fried Chicken would be a good fat for him. Now, literally, this is where you just want to slap people. I don't even know how to say it in a better way. Kentucky Fried Chicken was literally the hardest place for me to stop eating because it was like my favorite, but there's so much MSG in it, it makes you crave and want more. And so that is not a good fat choice, just so you know, if you're hearing this for the first time. It is not, it may taste delicious, but I promise you it's not a good fat choice. And so when we come here, it says just because something is common, it does not mean it's normal. Doctors now say a lot, not every doctor, okay? And all of our professionals in the healthcare industry are not bad or evil or any of this, right? I worked in the healthcare field for many years. I thought I was doing the best of the information and knowledge I had at the time. And you'll see even people like Dr. Purser, who, if you don't have his books, please go on Amazon. They're inexpensive, great information that's going to correlate with what we're talking today, Dr. Dan Purser. And the other doctor I want to recommend is Dr. Tom Reed. He's another one of my favorites. He has a great book out there. I just forgot the name of it. I'll find it and put it in here. So when it comes to some medical professionals are saying it's normal, you're 50, you're going to have a prostate problem, or it's normal, this is going to happen at this age. Or my biggest pet peeve is that PMS is normal. No, it's not. It means you have a deficiency of a hormone, which is progesterone. So this is just the most blatant one possible, and of girls with period problems, right? Menstrual problems, is that, you know, if you're biblical based, the Lord said we'd have pain upon childbirth. He didn't say we would be messed up our whole life with menstrual issues and postpartum depression and can't get pregnant, can't stay pregnant, and PMS and pain and fibroids and tumors and chronic headaches and migraines and all these different female things that we get. The only time you should know a female is on her menstrual cycle is that if you had to go buy some pads or tampons or something. Otherwise, there shouldn't be a change if the hormones are balanced. So just because it's common does not mean it's normal. That's the biggest point out of here, obviously. And this is going to sound harsh, but just being realistic here, you have to figure out what kind of piggy you are. So if you want to make a health care change, for a wellness change, a lifestyle change in your life, maybe your family wants to go along with it, maybe they don't, maybe your kids are younger and you have that opportunity to mold them and guide them into a better way. My kids were 8 and 12 when we started, so I had to sorry, like my kids would get in trouble for not eating their pizza, their Salisbury steak from Aldi's and corn dogs, okay? So I never gave them soda. I said that's like the only thing I did right in that, in my opinion, teach them about Jesus. I gave them carrots once in a while, but literally it was corn dogs. I'd heat it up for my son's lunch in the microwave, put foil around it and send it to lunch so it's still semi-warm when he eats it, okay? So I really came from the other side of the tracks when it comes to food. I always have my Diet Coke with me, you know, just totally obnoxious. And I lived the SAD diet. The standard American diet is the SAD diet. So when we learned about this, we went cold turkey, because when I heard this information, it hit me over the head like a ton of bricks, even though I've heard it for years and never went off and never understood it until later on. And so the one thing is, if you're trying to help somebody, please know that everyone does not get the light bulb at the same time, right? Everyone doesn't get the same awareness. And even though we wish that they did, they don't. Let me turn off my ringer here. Sorry about that. And so you personally, because you're only responsible for you, unless you're raising younger children, have to make a choice. Do you want the easy way out? Do you let the little bad wolf right here, or the bad wolf, he blows 3 times, the little house blows over? Do you want to make a choice that if you're eating McDonald's 6 days a week, you'll go down to 3, which is a better choice? And then as you learn more and you get accustomed to that, then you can stop eating it. Like you can gradually go baby steps. Or do you want to be a brick house piggy, I call it? And do you want to make a lifestyle change instantaneously, which can totally happen by changing your lifestyle and diet, getting rid of the chemicals and incorporating a new healthy lifestyle? Today, we have so many options, because back in the day, 15 years ago, when I live in Flint, Michigan, you know, as I always say, like, we didn't even know you could eat chia seeds. We just knew it was a pet, right? And we had to drive miles, like hours, to go even find something remotely. And then it costs like a whole paycheck, right? So there's so many options today, especially if you're brand new learning about this. So that's exciting. So the reason why you have to figure out what piggy you are, or your son or your friend or your mom or whoever it is that if I helped you with a fasting program, for example, or a nutrition program, and it was built for a brick house piggy, and you're going to do this and this and this and this, but you're really a straw piggy, you're not going to be successful. You're going to feel defeated and you're going to quit. So people have to tailor things to where they're at that moment, and then move forward as they progress. Okay, fair? Because we want people to be successful, whatever, and congratulate them on whatever success state they're in at that moment. The importance of this is we're talking about adults right now, right? But now, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many things I did to poison my children unknowingly. Of course, if I knew it, I would have never done it. Someone told me when I was pregnant with my first son that I can't use Claricel anymore, and I can't have diet soda, and I think chocolate. Okay, so, and I couldn't dye my hair. And so, because it absorbs into the skin, I don't know why I didn't get the big picture back then. And he just turned 27, or 26, just so you know. So like, I literally did not understand that. I did that because I know I didn't want to harm my baby. And that's all someone told me, right? And so I didn't do those things while I was pregnant. After he was done being pregnant, I started doing them, not realizing what comes through your breast milk affects the baby. But statistics are showing that for children in this generation are now exposed to more toxic chemicals in one day than our grandparents were in their entire life. People back in the day had farms. They didn't even have the chemicals until especially, you know, the 50s when they started doing stuff, right? But prior to that, they didn't even have the same kind of stuff, and it wasn't the same quantity of people had real food, and there wasn't so many processed, and we didn't have the cleaning chemicals and all that. And it's really important to be aware that 60% of what you put on your skin is absorbed into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. So I need you to think about a pain patch or a birth control patch or a smoker's patch, and that absorbs right into your skin as it's supposed to, even time release for a month. So when we're putting other fat, especially a fat soluble thing, on our skin, when we're drinking, when we're eating, when we breathe in the environment, these things absorb through our whole body, but even through our skin. So it's really important just to be aware of that. Over 3,000 chemicals were found by the National Institute of Occupational Health and Safety and Health, studies that over almost 900 were toxic ingredients and over 300 are biological mutations. 70, almost 800 were toxic to the human body, and 146 caused cancer tumors. And so you have to remember too that, which is crazy, is for a company to be deemed having a toxic ingredient, the FDA allows it up to them to make that decision through their testing. So if the FDA doesn't come after them because of numerous complaints, so if you ever have a skin condition or this or that, do you really contact poison control and say, I was using this and I know it's from that? No, people don't do that like that. So unless the FDA notifies that company of their mouthwash, their toothpaste, their hairspray, their foods, their drinks, their whatever the case is, then they're allowed to keep it. And we've heard a lot of things come out over the years from like Subway back in the day with the chemical that was in yoga mats in their bread, or whatever you've heard from companies now coming out. And so they've been doing it this whole time, but just got caught. So that's the only change. You know, if I was going to be envious of one human here on earth, it'd be the food babe. So if you guys haven't checked her out, please do it. She came out after I did, but she had her stuff together and she has so much information and put forth easy to understand about better choices. And it's the food babe. You can just Google that and you'll find it. This is someone that you really want to look and see what she's doing and pay attention, because everything I've ever seen her put out is fantastic. So every bite you eat, you're either fighting disease or feeding it, right? I mean, common sense shows that. We know sugar causes a problem. We know complex carbohydrates that have been processed that come from a can, bag, box are a problem. Obviously, I think probably all of us on this call perhaps still consume them, but how does it affect your body? You know, all this kind of stuff. And so do you want to fight disease or do you want to feed it is a choice that you have to make. And to be honest with you, I think I'm going to like just print this and put it on my refrigerator, because all of us are tempted with certain things. And, you know, we have that choice. And usually afterwards we decide like, oh my gosh, probably shouldn't have done that, but you already consumed it. So if you're learning how to make a better choice, if you look at the numbers on your food, and if you have a choice of having a 9 on the produce code, then that means it's organic. There's some foods that they don't spray heavily or often, so you could get away with that. That's when you want to look up the Dirty Dozen, and that will be a guide for you. But if we're buying like apples and peaches, what else do we buy? You know, things like that. I always buy organic, or we don't consume it on a regular basis because of what's in it and what happens. I have a great story here. My girlfriend, she said that whenever she used to be able to eat bananas when she was a kid and growing up, all that stuff. They moved to Texas. And she said that whenever she has a banana, she ends up going to this little anaphylactic shock. And she has a lot of asthma problems and all this kind of stuff. And so it's happened before. I believe that she had to go to the hospital, or is going like 3 times. So we're in Michigan, we're going up north to teach. And I said, could you eat bananas as a kid? She said, yeah. And I said, so are you allergic now, you think, to bananas as a grown person, or is it the kind of bananas that you're eating? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I said, so are you eating organic bananas? She said, no. And I said, they're literally like 10 cents more. Like, why not get organic, right? Sweet potatoes here in Michigan are the same price as non-organic ones. Why not, right? I understand that some things may have a giant markup. But like, I will not buy milk. I don't drink milk, but my family does. So I don't buy milk unless it's organic, literally. And so back to, her name was Lydia. So I said, listen, if you feel, pray about it. If you feel peace and comfort, I don't even know where there's a hospital because we were traveling up north. I said, take a bite of this banana, like this much, and we'll see what happens, you know? And then so she did, and she's like, I didn't even have a problem. It's like, oh my gosh. So on the way back, she ate a whole banana. It was like a Jethro banana. It was like this big. And she didn't have one problem. So we got back and she was telling her husband about it. And he's like, why did you eat a banana? We're out of state. You know how much that costs for health insurance and this and that, you know, whatever. She's like, but I haven't had a problem. So I said, is it the banana that's the problem? Or is it the chemicals on the banana, in the banana? People say, oh, I sprayed it. You know, it was sprayed and I peeled it off. I peeled off the orange skin. And what? When you spray a fruit or a vegetable and it's in the ground and it's coming up through the roots into the flower, which then produces the fruit, right? Or the vegetable, whatever. And you're still going to have the chemicals still in there, right? So just because you peel it doesn't mean dilly squat. And so you want to be aware. The people who are going to be, you can either go on my website for the chemical self-defense list, or whoever's texting cancer to my project broadcast, I will be sending this link out tomorrow with all my cancer stuff in like one little bundle, right? And it's free, you know, whatever. But here's a little cheat sheet, and of course, half the page is gone, of the chemicals that are heavily in your products. So unfortunately, when I was first doing this, and this list was generated back in 2008, okay? I was trying to make one for skincare, one for cleaning chemicals, one for food, one for drinks. They're all the same. They cross over all which ways. So it's just one list for all your different products. And so this is really helpful. This is like 100. So there's color coded because there's different names for formaldehyde and different names for MSG and so forth. Okay. Let's see here. Making our air clean. I'm not going to be going over today. I don't believe there's any slides to promote what I believe in doing, because we need to be able to teach how this happens. And I can't teach what you can do for your health and immune system and cancer, that kind of stuff, on the same platform. Okay, so this is why you may not see things that you would think that would be shared along with this, but you need to make your air clean. I just literally bought a beeswax candle that's 100% beeswax because I love candles and I haven't even had one forever. So like petroleum, paraffin, soy, chemicals, they release candles, release chemicals in the air that's not worth it for you to breathe in, or your infant, or your dog, or your husband, or whoever. When we're talking about phytoestrogens, which is synthetic estrogen that is being put off by our foods, smells, all the different ways that we can get this, it's not worth it. I used to love scented plugins. I call them cancer sticks or aerosol sprays. I used to have these things all the time. When I'm teaching and I bring my bag of chemicals, it's the stuff I've had since 2007 still. I'm using the same stuff. Smoking, you know, you got to stop smoking. There's over 601 ingredients in a cigarette. If you're going to smoke, there's a better choice, and it's called American Spirit, which is like has a Native American on the label, and it's just tobacco. That's a better choice. Okay. I don't promote smoking, but we're looking for better choices in life. Vaping is definitely not worth it with all the chemicals that are in vaping, the flavors, the smells. I mean, it's just outrageous. And so please, if you're doing those things, you know, find help to get you to help stop that. Trash all the bug sprays. If you're buying off bug spray, first of all, you can make your own and you can research that or listen to another call. But all the bug spray literally say, off bug spray says you cannot spray on your skin. So where in the daylights are you supposed to spray it? Like, that was the thing that got me so mad I couldn't even take it, because my boys that always had just shorts on, I'd lube their whole body down with mosquito bites, because in California, where we came from, they don't have mosquitoes. We moved to Michigan and it's like, what in the daylights? And my youngest son was allergic to them, so he get these giant welts. So I'd spray the daylights out of that kid. And all that stuff is what? Is it absorbing into the skin? Yes. Does it go into the bloodstream? Yes. Does the liver have to filter it out? Yes. So I love this saying, if you can't pronounce it, then why in the world would you eat it, drink it, do whatever, right? And remember that the same things that are happening to us as humans are happening to our pets. It's not a coincidence. It's because the same crap that they're eating is what we're eating, and the same medicines, they just give them lower doses. So they're having the same kind of problems we're having because of what's wrong with their food. So we're really particular about what we get for our pets as well. So what does all this do? It creates a body burden. And the best way for me to explain it is that when I gave birth to my children, I didn't have any awareness of this stuff. I didn't do right by them when they were in my belly. I was on antibiotics for years, every day for 17 years. I was on antibiotics because of my bladder problems and the issues I had. And I was taking birth control. There's a whole number of medications I was on personally, and for years. I was on birth control since I was 13. And the effects of that now comes into your fetus, right? Oh my gosh, the list just goes on. I'm surprised my kids are alive, honestly. And so when you give birth to a child and you don't realize that the wipes that you're using are petroleum based and formaldehyde and all the different chemicals, and you wipe down their little bottom and their whole body. Some people use it for their hands, their face, everything, their skin. What in the world is that doing? People now are spraying their kids with Lysol, are using Lysol wipes on them. There are doctors who recommend bleach baths for psoriasis. You can go look up bleach baths and you will see that that is a medical treatment option for adults and kids, and even as low as 2 years old, which is literally outrageous. And then as we do these things, as we keep growing up and we don't realize that formaldehyde in the toothpaste and this chemical in here, and it's in your mouthwash and your lotion, your your hair, your conditioner, your shampoo, all that hairspray you spray, especially the aerosol, or all the beauty salon stuff you go to. And what is that doing in our body? And it does store in our body. So you're like, why does this matter? How is this happening? In 1976, there was a law passed by our US that grandfathered in over 100,000 chemicals that never had to be tested. Only 3,000 chemicals have been tested. It's like, oh my goodness. And even chemicals that are banned in the UK and other places that we actually get from the UK or the US makes here, and they buy it and put it in all of our products. Whenever someone asks me, oh my gosh, my gums are bleeding, what do I do? What's happening? I said, do you use Crest Pro Health toothpaste or mouthwash? You're like, yeah, how'd you know? And I was like, well, it has a chemical called sodium hexahexaphosphate. And whenever someone calls me for that, it's the first thing I ask. And just out of coincidence, that's what they always use. That chemical is still in Sunny Delight today. Outrageously, I checked like 3 months ago when I was at the supermarket. I thought, this can't be in there. Now, I poisoned my child with that. He didn't like water. He didn't like this. I only gave that kid Gatorade and Sunny Delight for the majority of his life. He was 12 when I learned about this stuff, right? And so for 12 years, that kid had a constant diet of Gatorade, which has brominated vegetable oil in it. I mean, I can't even tell you all the stuff that happened to these kids. And so, I mean, just outrageous. I've already asked them forgiveness a number of times, of course, and just move forward. It's like, listen, I poisoned you. Let's try to flip that around and let's go for it here. So top 5 hidden chemicals in our homes. Remember, things to absorb into your bloodstream into 26 seconds. And of course, when you're inhaling this, it can be the same or even faster. We're talking about fragrances once again, even though I use them, like I can smell someone's Bounty or Bounce going in the neighborhood for a walk. I'm like, dude, let's walk this way, because that way I know which house it is over there. This stuff is obnoxious, even just walking down the street. And you think about it, it's only coming in and it ruins the environment. If I go into a place, I used to love going to Pier 1, but like I cannot go in that store because of the fragrance is so outrageous. If I do, it has to be like straight at 9 a.m. when they open, right? Because otherwise I just can't handle it. And the poor people, they're like, oh my gosh, my allergies. I'm like, please stop working here. You know, like it's just so bad for you. Trichosan, I've been talking about Trichosan literally for 15 years. People used to say I was crazy. And this is before we even knew it was bad. I knew it was bad from my research and studies, but everyone told me I didn't know what I was talking about. but it's an antibacterial agent and it is not straight. They have found out it's very bad for you and they have taken it off the market. And I think it was like in 2000, maybe 18 or 19, I can't remember. But this is something that's really bad for people that may still be out there. And it's something that we use all the time. They stopped studying it in 2013 and it's still pending review. Like that's still active today. They said, oh, you know what, let's just not worry about that anymore because no one wants to admit they've done something, right? And when triclosan was tested in the urine, 75% of the people it was tested in, they found it in there. That's pretty crazy. Phthalates, this is another one that's found in chemicals, personal care, nail polish, perfume, hairsprays, deodorant, moisturizers. So we're talking about this body burden. When you use these products on a daily basis, it is absorbing into you and whoever else is around. These are endocrine disruptors. That means they have like phytoestrogens, putting estrogen in the body. What is the #1 reason for female cancers? A dominance in estrogen, right? So do you just produce too much because you're walking around your house, or is it because of what you're using possibly unknowingly? Formaldehyde, this one's a big one because formaldehyde is known as a carcinogen, okay, but it's still allowed in a lot of products. And when you talk to someone who's in the beauty industry, they always say, well, you know, there's a different kind of formaldehyde that's in our products. I'm like, no, formaldehyde is formaldehyde. There's not a formaldehyde and a B formaldehyde and a C formaldehyde, and one's better than the other. They are all not straight. And so this is heavily in body washes and conditioners and shampoo and eyeshadows. And do you remember oral gel? And the biggest one was Johnson & Johnson No Tears. The reason why oral gel would help numb and they wouldn't feel it is because formaldehyde helped deaden the nerves. And the baby shampoos that say guaranteed no tears is because formaldehyde's in there deadening the nerves in their eyes. And they know it. And so, yeah, like when you find out this stuff, it's like in a shock. And I was just man, I would tell you when I started learning about this, I was so overwhelmed with stuff. Plus, no one was believing me, but I was so overwhelmed because I knew it was a truth. And to be honest with you, I have 3 main passions in life. And I don't know how you say this. Like, I don't have to work, okay? But yeah, I work so many hours in a day because I love to work. I love to help. I love to educate. And my 3 passions are teaching on chemical awareness, because without that information, not much else is going to help. I love teaching about how you can help yourself naturally, because I've done that myself and with many of our family and friends and seeing what's happened to them. So I know that things can happen, whether it's 50, 80, or 100%, your body, given the information and the tools it needs to get rid of chemicals, to give it the right nutrients, can repair itself, whether it's 50, 80, or 100%. And my favorite thing to teach about is Jesus. But today we're teaching about chemicals. I will be forever, ever, ever thankful if I had to choose personally between my products that I use on a daily basis and learning about the knowledge about MSG and all the different names for it and what it does to the body and the mind. I would choose learning that knowledge over my favorite products that I use on a daily basis, because that was the catalyst that changed our family's life, of learning about the chemicals, because my youngest son and I are highly affected by MSG, and there's 26 different names. The big old can of Accent, monosodium glutamate, yeast extract are going to be the 3 biggest names that you're going to be aware of, that if it has one of those 3 things in there, I'm not touching it or even looking at it. And to this day, I don't eat someplace unless I have asked about the ingredients, and we will drive all the way home from Canada not eating one thing if I can't find a place that doesn't have that. So that's very important to me. And I could use all the products that I use currently today, but they would not help me not have the problems I do with MSG without. Does that make sense? So that was a catalyst of changing our whole life. And so I'm very thankful for that. for life. So these chemicals, teaching about chemical awareness is very important to me. BPA, which we're going to go over in a second, showing you what you can do to make a difference. That's the plastics. And when you have a canned food and the plastic lining in it, when that first came out, I was like, man, that's awesome. No more tin can taste. Well, that's really estrogen. So I guess it wasn't too much better, right? But the plastics you want to avoid. And that's why a couple of years ago, they went through and said, hey, no more plastic baby bottles. Well, they can't go after Tupperware and all the plastic bottles for ketchup with everyone in the world, right? So they just said baby bottles. But if they're going to change the baby bottles, you know, common sense wise, you're like, why are they changing that? And what else should we change? Okay. Per the American Cancer Society, here we go. This is the main slide. There's an estimated over 50,000 Americans expected to die this month of cancer. Okay, remembering that only 5 to 10% are genetic or mutations inherited from a parent. So up to 95%, lifestyle and environment are the main factors. So the American Cancer Society says that lifestyle is smoking, alcohol, poor nutrition, obesity, a lack of physical activity. Environment, per the American Cancer Society, is the sun, gamma rays, radiation, x-rays, CAT scans, mammograms, PET scans, radon, chemo. Those are all examples of environmental issues. Now, if you're working at a bus depot and you're breathing in all that stuff, that would be a problem too, right? That's environment. Secondary cancers related to lifestyle and environment. This is just another slide showing you that they say smoking, secondhand smoke. I mean, our parents didn't know, but both of my parents smoked my whole childhood, and you be in the car, windows rolled up in the winter, whatever, right? And I just cannot even, if I'm even around smoke now, I mean, I just start coughing. Excess body weight, alcohol, once again, physical inactivity, poor nutrition, which is going to be the main culprit here, because most people have a very bad diet, a standard American diet. Eating red processed meats, especially if they're not organic and they're being fed GMO, which is genetically engineered or modified foods, diets low in vitamins and fruits and vegetables and dietary fiber, the radiation, indoor tanning beds. I had no idea that's on the American Cancer Society's website for causing cancer, the tanning beds. Asbestos, a lot of old houses have that. Chemotherapy in itself causes cancer. So this is why if someone's ever had cancer, you definitely have to be straight moving forward, no matter what. But if you've done chemo or radiation, you have got to be straight. You don't have the luxury, none of us really have the luxury, but you really don't have the luxury or the freedom to eat what you want to eat or use what you want to use, because your cancer will come back. It's guaranteed, because cancer on itself causes, chemo on itself causes cancer. They're giving chemo for ectopic pregnancies, for people who have psoriasis. They're giving chemo medicine for people who don't even have cancer, and they're guaranteed to get cancer because of that and not be able to reproduce. Gamma rays, radiation, PET scans, a lot of different medications associated with this are going to do the same thing. What time is it? Oh my gosh. Other types of radiation exposure is smart meters. You can get that off or don't get them put on your house. Using cell phones and the Bluetooth earbuds are a problem. Power lines, you definitely don't want to live near that. Radio frequencies. There's just a lot of different things that you want to be aware of. I got to start moving forward here. Jim Rohn has one of my favorite quotes: take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live, right? So one thing that you can do, I don't believe in mammograms, but what I do believe in is thermoscans. And you'll see right here, this red dot, that's when a thermoscan can detect a tumor versus an MRI, which they don't do often for a first-time check for if you thought you had breast cancer, for example. They do mammograms, and mammograms are detected at this size. Physical exams are detected at this size. So thermoscans you can get done. You can just Google it in your area, thermoscan.com. You can go there. They have an office here in Michigan. I've had that done a couple of times, and they can actually do like the whole body lymphatic. They can do like your groin area, and they can do your breast, of course. So that's something that's, look at this detection, of course, why not do this? That's amazing. And you can do that every year or not. And I've had issues, and I have a little blend. I've had an issue twice, and that I could feel, which is why I went and had a thermoscan done. And I was able to take care of it naturally. So that's really exciting. When you talk about plastics, I got rid of all my plastics. And you just go get Pyrex, and like you can get them at Bed Bath and Beyond or Kohl's with a coupon, right? And you got all the same containers, all the lids, they stack. It's very nice. It's easy. You can store in them. You can freeze in them. You can serve in them. Of course, I would never use the microwave with them. And you could even cook in the oven with them. So very nice, very easy just to get glass. When you're drinking, you don't want to drink out of aluminum. You don't want to drink out of plastic as much as possible. But if all you have is a plastic water bottle to drink some water, and you have no water, then drink some plastic water bottle, right? We're talking about better choices. Is it better to be dehydrated and pass out, or to get some water? When I travel, in the airport, I get a plastic water bottle until I get to where I'm going to fill up my water bottle. Okay. So you're always just going to do the best that you can do. If you think that your container is straight and you think it's stainless steel, it should say gauge 18 on it. If it does not, then most likely it's aluminum, and then there's glass. Okay. So just be aware of that. Very important. How do you do? If you're not pooping on a regular basis, then this is going to cause a huge problem for you. If you're eating 3 meals a day, I just love this numbers kind of thing. I need visuals in life to learn. So if you eat 3 meals a day, that means you consumed 1,095 meals in a year. If you pooped once a day and you're really special, because the average person does not, that means that you eliminated 365 meals. That means you still have 730 meals in you. Now, let's say that 2 of your meals that week were just a handful of nuts. Okay, so maybe you don't have a bowel movement from that. But generally speaking, if you're not eating after or pooping after a substantial meal, then you do have a digestive issue. And I believe, and there's a lot of information to support that 80% of your immune system is located in your digestive system. So we need to build up your good bacteria. We need to make sure you're eliminating, and we have some fantastic products to help support that. When you think about what your blood looks like in your body, does it look like this from not drinking enough water, or does it look like a river flowing? I just love the swamp picture. If you have something wrong with you, you have to drink water. Your body needs it. So I have a few slides here on water. Water is essential for every cell in your body. It regulates your temperature, helps your body absorb nutrients, it removes the waste, helps form saliva, lubricates your joints, moistens oxygen for your breathing and for your lungs, converts food into energy, helps to cushion your vital organs, and is necessary for growth and reproduction. Not drinking enough water has a myriad of issues here: headaches, dizziness, body odor, premature aging, skin disorders, chapped lips, weight gain. I can always tell when my one son doesn't drink enough water, his lips look like Texas's ground, or since we got Texans on here, or looks like the desert. Okay, literally big old cracks. I'm like, dude, drink some water. Like in like a half a day, it comes back plump. I mean, it's like incredible. If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Dry eyes, there's just so many things, even diseases with allergies and asthma and joint pain and high blood pressure and cholesterol. If you don't have enough water, your blood is going to be sluggish and it's not going to be moving fluidly, right? Extreme dehydration could be UTIs, heat stroke, heat exhaustion, muscle cramps. If your urine, does not look light yellow, you got a problem. The darker it gets, the more water you need, okay? Drinking water, let me see right here. I'm going to tell you, I don't believe in drinking water with a meal. I know there's a huge controversy on that, so everyone can do what they feel is best. I believe it sort of diminishes your enzymes that you need to help break down your food. So I may take a sip with something if I need to, but generally speaking, I do not drink water with my meal. But as soon as you wake up in the morning, you should drink, in my opinion, 16 ounces of water, or 10 at least. Do something. If you don't usually drink anything, do something, right? And so if you don't, drink 5 ounces, the next week start drinking 10, whatever, just work your way up. After a workout, you definitely need some water. When surrounded by infection or sick people, you think about, if you don't have enough water, once again, your blood gets sluggish. So the fastest way to get that out is to hydrate yourself after taking a bath, helping with your blood pressure. Before you're going to bed is great, unless you think you're going to be up all night peeing. And then don't, if that's going to disrupt your sleep. When you're feeling sick, when you're feeling tired, you need to get fluid. I just love this. Your brain has 70%, 75% water in it, okay? Your blood is 83%, your heart is 79, your bones are 22, your muscles are 75, your liver is 85, your kidneys are 83. Do you know your kidneys process, oh my gosh, I almost forgot the stats. I think it's 86 gallons of blood a day if they have the right amount of lubrication from water. Skin is 70%. This is why aging comes in if you're not drinking enough water. Fat, 20%, connective tissue, 60%. The difference between a raisin and a grape is what? Dehydration. So you can imagine your brain if you don't have enough water, not that it's going to shrink like that instantaneously. Over time, your body is shrinking if you don't give it what it needs. And I believe that you should drink half your body weight in ounces of water a day. So you can figure out that measurement for yourself. Let's see here. Oh, can't really, I believe in diffusers that help me with keeping my home clean and smelling fantastic. I think that we should enjoy life, and we need to exercise. We need to sleep, and whatever that is a standard normal thing. If you're only doing 5 minutes a day, then do that. Go to your mailbox 10 times a day. I believe that we should find opportunities to help others and to live our purpose. One of the ways that I do that is with the Young Living Foundation. I think they're totally amazing with the whole process of how many people that they've been able to help. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Hold on, where's that at? And hold on, stop sharing screen. There's so many things that we can do literally to help ourselves. It's amazing. So once again, I know I'm running out of time. When I did the other talk, literally it's 5 days worth. It's like, it's like 30 to 60 minutes a day. And it really is thorough. This was just a snapshot of the things that we can do to prevent, hopefully, prayerfully getting cancer ourselves. But once again, as a quick rundown, we want to make sure that we're aware that we need to respect our body and take the time to investigate. Just don't believe in what I'm saying. Take the time to investigate, to respect ourselves, so that, because if I get cancer now, this is on my fault. Okay, it's not a history in my family. My brother didn't have genetic cancer either. My girlfriend didn't have genetic cancer. So knowing what I know, if I get cancer in my lifetime, it's because of what I did or did not do. The ways that you can avoid that is eat to live and avoid diseased foods, okay? Avoid plastic containers and bottles. Stop dying to be beautiful. That means I'm so thankful I didn't wear lipstick and makeup for whatever, like 14 years. Actually 14 years until last year. And I know Young Living came out with makeup before then, but I love wearing lipstick and mascara, and even more, but I don't remember how to put it on anymore. But it's not worth using the lead lipsticks and all the other stuff out there, because your skin is absorbing all that you do all day. So make sure it's straight. Avoid social and recreational drugs. I don't believe in alcohol. I don't believe in smoking or cigarettes or vaping. There's things that you can do. All those things increase your risk of cancer. Try to move your body and stay fit as much as possible. Reduce your body fat index. resist synthetic hormones. Synthetic hormones are not good for you. Just taking one birth control pill adds 10 years of increased risk of getting breast cancer or cervical cancer. And I was on them since I was 13 until I was 20. I was on them for over 10 years, 11 years, you know, unknowingly, right? So try to compensate all of that. Get your lymphatic massage on, do it yourself, do skin brushing. If you have my book, there's a section you just can go Google skin brushing. Make sure you get the essential vitamins and minerals in your body and good fats and proteins that are needed. Love your breast, massage them. It sounds weird, but you know, you're not going to know there's a problem unless you can feel the difference and you know what to even feel for it. Manage your stress. That's like the number one thing here. Stress is like, oh my gosh, the main culprit about illness and disease, isn't it? So you, in my opinion, write down your top 10 stressors. If you have a family at home, I did this all the time with my kids. We'd have family meetings. What's your top 10 stressors? If something came up all the same, we would try to eliminate that, get rid of it, do whatever. My son would say, I don't like when you yell at me. I said, well, I shouldn't yell because I'm an adult and I should be able to handle myself better, right? He's like, I don't like if I get a spanking or get time out. I'm like, well, that's your problem because you shouldn't have done what you did, right? So you can work as a family, you can learn together, you can grow together, you can eliminate your stresses together, you can share with each other. I believe in no skeletons in your closet. And if you got a problem, just, of course, say whatever you want to say in love with the right intent, trying to help people grow and learn and change. Know your levels. I think I'll put on that list for tomorrow. There's a list of blood work you should ask your doctor for. And don't just say because you want it, because they'll say no. You have to say like, I'm not feeling straight. And if you have to tell a smidge of a falsehood, I want my lab work tested. I want my hormones tested, my thyroid tested. There's 6 tests for the thyroid. They usually only do T3 and TSH. So you want to find out what your levels are so you can know where you're at. And know who, why, and what you're supporting. There's a whole thing out there called pink washing, and it's the same people who are promoting products that have cancer-causing chemicals in there. You got to learn more about that. That document will be on this list. If you are helping your family or friend just in loving and caring for them that have cancer, please help support them the way that they need help and support. What I mean by that is, I didn't want my brother to go through chemo and radiation, but that was his choice. And so I needed to support him during that and love him as much as possible. And so, you know, help people with where they're at, with what they're at. So, you know, don't help people where you're at and what you think and know. Ask them how they can help, how you can help them, support them through their times of need. And inhale. Okay, I'm done. 3 minutes. Any questions?
Nothing that you can answer in 2 minutes, maybe, but maybe what'll come up.
That's a hilarious question, Stacey.
Thank you. I'm trying. Man, I had a whole nother thing to tell you guys, but like, yeah, like trying to do this. My dear friend, Brittany, she says, you have to make it in 30 minutes and then down to 15 and then down to 10. I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying here. This is ridiculous. I never have a shortage of things to say. So, you know, I hope this has been informative to you. For those who are online and you perhaps cannot see, you can't see what's being in the chat. There is a phone number, my business phone number. It's 810-328-3337. So 810-328-3337. So if you just text that number, cancer, there's no fees, then I can send you back the information that will support everything that I'm saying, with how you can protect and prevent yourself, or if you have cancer or have had cancer, what kind of lifestyle you need to live moving forward, because it's rough, and you need to eliminate every chance of you getting cancer back, literally, you know? So there that is.
Stacey, that was amazing. Thank you very much. Everyone's saying we need part 2 of this. So we can make that happen.
We can make that happen.
Make that happen. So I'm going to pop one more time in here, Stacey's book and her text right there that you can get the slides that she was talking about tonight. So fantastic job. As always, Living Balance, old school version. You're going to get the new one right there. When did you write this?
It was a year after I was in Young Living, so 2008.
2008. And I heard Stacey talking about it at a convention. She did like a breakout session that was just in the little expo thing that we had years ago. And I was mesmerized. So what a blessing to have her here tonight. Thank you so much, Stacey. And hang around because we have a fantastic business class coming up. And here we go. We're just going to stop the recording here.